Yeah.
And even if we tried, there's no way we could overthrow a government,
No.
even though the movies make it seem like we can.
There's no possible way. I mean, maybe if it was like a small country like Puerto Rico or like Cuba, where like there was a revolution in Cuba, you know, with Fidel Castro and shit like that.
But that's where it's like acceptable to assassinate your president and shit. It's way easier.
Right. They call it a coup d'etat, where they decide to like, okay, this president's shit. We're just gonna force him out of office.
Mm-hmm.
And those smaller countries can do that because the people almost have just as much power as the government does, or they can come close to rivaling the government. Here in the United States, we're not even close.
You think that's why that they restrict us from Cuba, because they don't want us to see how they do it?
Probably. I mean, probably. There's been an embargo, like a trade embargo in Cuba. Like we couldn't get Cuban cigars for a long time. But I don't know. I don't think we'd ever need an uprising in the United States.
I think the only way it could happen is we got people who thought like us, and then they took like the long journey to get into the government, and like they overthrew it from within.
People on the inside.
Yeah, but that would take a huge collective to do it.
I think so. I almost wonder if we'd be worse off.
What?
If we overthrew the government and tried to run it ourselves.
I don't know. Depends on who overthrew it.
Yeah, it depends on who overthrew it and how they did it. And where would we be afterwards?
Yeah, because there's, even though it's like a fucked up system, they have like good knowledge on how to run, like, you know, like how to, what am I trying to say? Just like how to like make everything go cohesively.
How to build like a
like they're smart.
An economy or like a sustainable like way of living.
Yeah, that's why we, as like me and you, regular people, couldn't do it. But somebody needs to get the knowledge, take that journey, go to school, all that shit, maybe become president, and then do it that way. But
that'd be interesting.
That would be so hard to do.
It would be really hard.
Because like I've always wondered like the way, like the shit that I say, because you know how your phones listen to you and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that has an effect on my life. You know,
you think
like
so?
The shit I search and the shit I say, my phone hears.
Yeah, the ads cater to what you search.
Yeah,
I find more and more when I get on Instagram, I find myself clicking on more and more ads because when I do, it like gives them a little bit of information about what I like, and so then they start catering to me more of that.
So what if somebody was on like plan to do that? They'd like have to refrain from phones and shit like that. That could be a movie.
Or you could play into it. Like, since we know that our phones are listening to us and that they collect our information, why don't we just falsify the information that we give them?
But you'd have to start that early.
You'd have to start it from
like
the
you'd
jump.
have to be taught that.
You'd start it from the jump.
Because like when you're a kid, you don't understand like shit like this. Your parents would have to teach you shit like that.
Dude, that'd be wild. Can you imagine if we like...
That'd be the most deceptive person in the world.
Dude. If you specifically bred a human being to become like an inside agent or like a, what do they call it, a sleeper cell agent, where like they what if they truly believed that they were, you know, that they wanted to be a part of this government and we only put them there so that we could use them to overthrow everything.
Mm-hmm. That'd be a good ass movie.
That would be a great movie.
It's kind of how, here it goes back to rap again, like how Kendrick and Cole and Jay-Z, like that's how they made it to where they are now. Like they were making like their own type of music, like just rapping and shit. And Kendrick, there's a vivid memory of him in a interview. He said, I was making music for me, and then I realized I had to make music for other people in order to like make music for me or something like that. So he was going his own route. Say like this is the path of like the people. Kendrick was like right here, and obviously you can't catch up if you're doing it by yourself. So he like integrated and then like went past them, and now he's on his own again.
And now he's back off on his own track.
That's kind of how like they made it in the rap game.
They became a part of the system for a little bit, and then split back off.
Yeah. It's like a smart way to do it, but it's risky also because you can get stuck.
You can get stuck. You can get stuck making music for the people that they want to hear.
And I think Drake. So there's the people. Drake saw it, and he fucking just loved that shit. Now he's like all the way up here. So like he can't get out now.
There's not a whole lot of, Drake doesn't feel genuine anymore. It feels like like, I don't even know if Drake knows who Drake is anymore. Like, he might be looking in the mirror like, am I really Drake anymore?
Yeah.
Like, who is Drake? Like, who was Drake before he was Drake? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I remember watching this. I watched this movie called Elvis versus Nixon, or was it that? I think it was called Elvis versus Nixon, and it was about Elvis Presley. Like, in real life, Elvis Presley went to the president and told him that he wanted to be a CIA agent. He wanted to be an undercover agent for the CIA. And in part of this movie, you see Elvis like looking in the mirror, and he's like, you know, who is Elvis? Because he became such this massive, you know, pop star. Like, he was like the first like massive pop star that we have ever had. And so he doesn't know like the difference between Elvis before he was famous and the Elvis now. And they kind of like merge together. So he doesn't know if he's like playing Elvis.
Damn.
Or if he is Elvis. Like, I wonder if that's happening with Drake. Like, Drake doesn't know, like...
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, he can't differentiate himself between what people see Drake as and who he really is. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, you kind of follow?
I mean, he's very aware of that because he has, like, these hidden songs in his albums. Like, on his last one, there's a song called Is There More? And he just keeps naming shit like, is there more to life than banking accounts? Is there more? Like, he says, like, very aware shit like that.
Right.
But then right after that, like, he'll play a pop song because he knows what it, like, that's what people feed off of.
But does he rap, is there more, because he wants, it could be because he knows his fans will think, oh, wow, Drake's so self-aware?
No, I think
You
there's
think
no
he
way
does it
he's
for him?
not, there's no way you can get that big without being, with being not self-aware. Like, he's very aware of
What about
everything.
DJ Khaled? I don't think he's very self-aware of himself. I mean, he might be more now than he used to be, but like when he was putting Snapchats up of him
I
on
don't
like
know.
jet skis, like getting lost and stuff, like I don't know if
He's like
it was,
a girl.
Yeah, I don't.
He's like a little girl, like running him. There's like a little girl in his head.
What?
Like, you know how girls, like, I don't even touch on that subject.
What? No, please.
You like how girls are, like, they think differently and they're
Yeah.
like not aware of themselves sometimes, and that's how DJ Khaled acts. Like, he's like a partying girl, like on his Snapchat.
Kind of ditzy.
Yeah.
Kind of. What's another good word for ditzy? I can't think of it. Kind of hollow-headed. There's not a
Jack-o'-lantern.
A jack-o'-lantern. Fucking pumpkin head.
I think it's very like applaudable. I think the word I'm looking for, where because we live in a world where it's so we're focused on like the skinniness and like your aesthetic and like the way you dress and shit. But then you got people like DJ Khaled and Rick Ross and Action Bronson. They're like totally opposite of that. They're just
Right.
like fat, sloppy dudes who like dress nice.
They don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they just somehow made it.
Right.
Because it's
I
hard
mean,
to do. You have
now
to have
they don't-
aesthetic.
Now they don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I think everyone should worry about being healthy, but I don't think you should necessarily worry about being as skinny as possible. You know what I mean?
I don't think like what am I
Because
trying to
Action
say?
Bronson is not healthy. That man is not healthy, and he doesn't care about it. That's fine. But when he dies from a heart disease,
See, I think he does care about it because he said shit like he needs to get healthier and stuff.
Yeah.
But he understands that that's why people like him. It's because he's not healthy, and
Right.
they love seeing him eat.
Mhm.
So it's like he's stuck too.
he is kind of stuck. I mean, could you imagine a skinny Action Bronson, or not a skinny Action Bronson, but an Action Bronson that was like 300 pounds lighter?
They need to be like 12 pounds.
No way. He's 312 pounds.
Yeah, he's like 315 or
Oh
something.
my god. So okay, so imagine him like 150 pounds lighter.
I can't see it though.
He'd be so tiny. He would have so much extra skin that
Yeah,
like
like
he could
clip-
fly away, dude.
He's like on click. He's like, this is my stomach.
Yeah. See that episode of Family Guy where Stewie flies around with the fucking flappy arms?
No.
Oh my god, dude, that clip is so funny.
That's another thing. You know how they say like the Simpsons predict shit and stuff like that?
Mhm.
I feel like certain shit is true in that. Like
Mhm.
there's the system behind like these cartoons and shit we watch.
Oh yeah.
Because if you watch these cartoons nowadays, even back then when we were kids, there's a lot of subliminal shit, and they know what they're
Yeah,
doing.
there is. Cartoons are weird because like, especially the Simpsons where they like comment on social. like issues and like social politics and stuff like that.
It's like they're trying to
like they made a joke out of Donald Trump being president like a long time ago, and now that it's actually like happened, like it feels surreal.
And did you see that side by side of him like waving on the elevator? So they're in the Simpsons cartoon. He became president, and he's like going down this elevator, and he's like waving at everybody. And, like next to him, there's like a lady holding a sign, and she drops it. And then they put a side by side. I could just pull it up actually.
Yeah, look it up really quick. No way. And you're telling me that video came before this one?
Yeah.
Ain't no way, dude. Nah.
Isn't that weird?
This one had to have come out after that one. It's too similar.
Nah.
It's too
It
similar.
happened, they said 15 years ago.
It's too similar. That is not 2000. I don't believe that. I don't believe it. Have you seen The Simpsons predict 9/11?
Yeah.
That's fucking weird. That is
where
really
it's
weird.
like it has that poster on the window or something, and it says something weird. It says like call 911 or something.
Yeah, and like there's a sort of like smoke behind the building or something. That's fucking creepy.
Have we
dude.
talked about the 9/11? Do you know if it's? Do you think it's real or not?
I don't know. I think it could have been a false flag. Just like there's a false flag operation in Vietnam before, like just to get us into Vietnam. The U.S. committed a false flag. You can like look up the documents, like they just released it. You can look it up and see that like their goal in Vietnam was never to bring like true democracy to Vietnam. Like that's what they pitched it to people as, but that was not what it was. The U.S. had other goals going into Vietnam than what they really told us about. And there were a bunch of false flag operations that like tried to get the people to back, Vietnam. But I think people knew that was going on, which is why they were so opposed to us going into Vietnam. So I don't know if it was really a false flag to go into Iraq. Because if we wanted to go to Iraq, we just would have,
Well, there had to be a reason for war, though. So they just caused
advantage. You can always go to war just simply over advantage.
No, I mean, you can't just go to war, though, without a reason, though.
The U.S. could if they wanted to.
Yeah, but then Americans would look at America weird. Like, why the fuck we're just going out of war out of nowhere?
True.
There had to be a reason.
We already kind of do, don't we? We've been looking at it weird this entire time. We should look up some 9/11 conspiracies. Because, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if anybody will ever know the truth. Because it's just...
I feel like people are on the brink of it, but it's like you can never gain everything you want to learn from it.
We'll never be able to attain the knowledge that we need.